Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to the Monday, February 12th edition of the Establish the Run NBA DFS Injury Analysis Show. I am your host, Gary Hartman, joined by, not only the best in the industry in breaking down NBA injury news and analysis, but perhaps one of the greatest playoff NFL best ball players out there, as well as I'm with Mike Gallagher, who just took home $30K in a NFL playoff best ball. Was it Gauntlet last night or one of the underdog contests? Mike, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Yeah, feel good, man. It was Juwan Jennings is my new king. No more. He's my guy forever. I will. You can find me all you want. But yeah, that was quite a night. Yeah, my first NFL bank feels really good. Honestly, feels
Awesome,
really good
man.
to get the bank more than the dough. But yeah, feeling really good.
I know that.
Shout out to
I know that feeling.
NFL team. Yeah,
I know that
this
feeling for
squad.
sure. Yeah,
Little
man.
little
Congratulations.
Mahomes, Pacheco, CMC, Juwan Jennings, the king, and then Kelsey, who was airballing early. So yeah, I got 5 players in, and you needed Juwan Jennings, and I squeaked it out by 0.2. So love to see it.
So sweet, man. Congratulations, seriously, and really happy for you. And for all of you, hope you all had a great NFL season. If you're here with us new because NFL is over, welcome in. It's NBA season is full blown. We are into All-Star week. However, we have a couple great months ahead. And for 10 games tonight on Monday night, it's not that bad injury-wise. Big slate for sure, but not that bad injury-wise. So why don't we just dive right in, Mike, with some of these 7 o'clock Eastern starts. We'll start with Indiana, Charlotte. Indiana does, per usual, have a rather full injury report, but a lot of it is Q-Tex on their G League guys. However, Tyrese Halliburton is listed questionable as they kind of continue to, monitor him and manage him. So any lean on Hallie tonight, and where does his current minutes restriction stand if he does go?
Yeah, he's hanging around 30. I'd expect him to probably have that 30 round. Maybe he goes 32 today, but going to be capped until the All-Star break. Then maybe they ramp him up there. He's going to go. They've been listing him Q, and really nothing to say. Not a back-to-back that he's going to be limited, and he hasn't even played in back-to-back. So yeah, pretty much full go there. To the low 30s. Other than that, Jalen Smith's going to be out until the All-Star break. Rick Carlisle said so. Expect him to miss really the rest of the week. If you have him season long, deep long, you'd probably drop him if you're playing pretty deep. But yeah. So obviously great matchup. Charlotte, we'll talk about them with some new pieces they have there. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Expecting Halliburton in.
Yeah. You mentioned Jalen Smith being out for a while here, so Isaiah Jackson, I would imagine stays in the rotation here for the time being.
Cool. Yeah, I mentioned Rick Carlisle kind of talked him up, saying that he's been working a lot with the coaches and been doing a little bit better because we saw he's kind of out of the rotation. So yeah, it should be.
Yep.
They go small. I could see this game going a little bit smaller here, especially with Grant Williams on the other side. So if say Miles Turner gets into foul trouble, I could see them playing like Obi in a small ball lineup, just with the way that the game could shift here. Obviously, a great game environment with bad Charlotte defense and great Indiana offense and bad defense too.
Totally. All right, good stuff. So you mentioned the Charlotte side with some of the new faces that we've seen over there tonight on their injury report. Obviously, LaMelo is still out. The G League guys are also out. So Nick Smith Jr. and Leaky Black, who have seen good amount of playing time for both of those guys in recent weeks, both of them out tonight as well. And Mark Williams also remains out. Cody Martin probable here with the knee contusion, or listed with the knee contusion. So what do you expect to see out of Charlotte in what should be a very fast-paced game?
Yeah, so let's talk about these new pieces. Steve Clifford said over the weekend that he was going to use all 5 of his new guys, and he did just that. It looked like he was going to run 8, and then midway through the second quarter, we got Davis Bertans in there who kind of lit it up, hit kind of big 3 threes to really help them separate and get the win. So yeah, expecting Tremaine to start before the game. Steve Clifford said he wants him to establish a rhythm, and they basically traded for him. They didn't get really a lot of draft capital in dumping Hayward. So, he didn't close because Micic was awesome down the stretch, finding players in the corners. His drive game was really strong. Same with Trey. They both had 16 drives in, mid-20s minutes. 16 drives is really strong. And that was a pretty clear game plan from Clifford. So these guys have pretty good roles. 9 assists for both. Both ran pretty hot. Trey had, I think, 12 potential assists. But, yeah, I really like these roles. It's a little bit interesting that we've seen some, Brandon Miller's usage come down a little bit, lost a little bit of handling. I don't know if it's like a one-game thing. I should also note Brandon Miller had his minutes cut the first half. He picked up a second foul early in the second quarter, and you would have thought Clifford would have went back to him. They kept calling time. We had a Brandon Miller over, and I was waiting for him to come back in, and they just kept him out. But he played huge second half minutes to kind of get there. But yeah, Cody should be good to go. Did have a little bit of handling, but lost a little bit. But yeah, expecting this rotation again. Again, they closed with Grant Williams for a pretty good bit. He looked awesome, and he drove more too. He had a little downhill game, which you never see with Luka there. So I think Grant Williams could be a little bit sneaky from like a
Interesting.
Is going to be a little bit better, I think, in Charlotte than it was in Dallas.
Yeah, it definitely will be for season long bros. Like keeping an eye on all these new guys, for sure. Trey Mann, big opportunity for him. Micic looked great, and in his opportunity as well. So obviously some, in these fast paced games too. We'll talk about it on the DFS side later, but will be an interesting see what their prices are later. All right, let's go to Philadelphia, Cleveland. If Philadelphia was healthy, this would have been a big Eastern Conference standings battle. They are not at all healthy. They are still without, obviously, Joel Embiid, Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, DeAnthony Melton. All those guys are out. We also have Tobias Harris listed questionable tonight. Mo Bamba also Q. Any leans or thoughts on Tobias and any thoughts on Philly here in general?
Yeah, I mean, winning 30K is nice, but having the Sixers actually file an injury report with Tobias on it is like really, it's like winning twice. But yeah, I don't know, late day Q tag. He's had a lot of Q tags for illness, man, and like it's I think this is like his fourth or fifth time with an illness. So we always think those late day Qs are unlikely. So we'll see. Buddy Hield's playing a ton. Oubre's playing pretty good bit. Paul Reed's been pretty solid here. They almost lost this game. Due to I'll talk about the Wizards in a little bit, but we saw a little bit of campaign overlap. He played, he's been playing okay there. But yeah, and Ricky Council actually was I want to talk about. He played a ton down the stretch in a pretty tight rotation. I wouldn't be surprised. I would expect them to start KJ Martin if they did miss, but I think Ricky Council's kind of found some minutes here. Maybe like a deep stream, or we could probably talk about too big of a slate, so we probably won't talk about too much later. But getting that many minutes and impactful minutes was surprising.
For sure. So yeah, we'll keep an eye there. Cleveland side of things, pretty clean. Just Dean Wade, questionable, which, if this was when Mobley and Garland was still out, this would be a bigger deal. Still a guy that is part of the rotation, though. Any Dean Wade thoughts as Cleveland just continues to be the hottest team in the league?
Yeah, as Mark Dankenbrink noted, the Cavs record when Dean Wade plays is quite good. So clearly, Dean Wade being all-star snubbed was tough. But yeah, they would just condense it. We'd see a little more Coro, a little more LeVert, a little more Sam Merrill, maybe a little bit higher minute ceiling. Maybe they bring in Damian Jones. I highly doubt it, though. So probably just, we're only talking about like 10 to 12 minutes or 14 minutes for him. So yeah, not a huge tag there. But Cavs are crushing, man. They just won't stop playing well. I kind of want to bet this. I think if the bias gets rolled out, I'm probably going to hit it, and I think the Cavs are going to pull them out.
I'm seeing what 10.5 right now in Cleveland. Yeah, I mean, totally get that. All right, let's keep rolling right along here. Chicago, Atlanta, two teams, I guess, with play-in hopes at this point. Chicago side, more of the same. Patrick Williams, obviously out for a while. Levine out. G League guys are also listed out tonight. Kobe White, Torrey Craig are probable. So the one big Q tag here is Alex Caruso, who to me always seems like he's questionable. Any thoughts on Caruso here tonight, or any?
Yeah, no notes. Jordan Goodwin to the Grizzlies. Don't take Scottie Pippen's minutes. Anyways, Kobe's been banged up. We saw him play a couple tough games. Billy Donovan said that he's kind of getting worn down from all the shots. We saw call it 4 or 5 games ago. They were running shorter first half stints and then playing him normal in the second half to keep his minutes in check and stop playing him 40. That's out the window. He's just completely playing him 40 again, 45 in overtime last game. So yeah, matchups awesome, right? We love playing people against the Hawks. They're at the course field of the NBA at State Farm Arena. Caruso don't have a great read. I don't know if they would go to Craig. I wouldn't be surprised if they I wouldn't be surprised if they go big. And so we got really screwed by the Bulls over the weekend. We took an Ayo Dosunmu over, and then just mega Drummond. They played so much double big. And so we bet Drummond on Saturday, and he was at the table early, like 9 minutes into the first quarter. It was like, whoa, Drummond's coming in early. It's going to be the easy cash. Dude can't stop fouling, and Ayo goes ham. So we got the major rug pull for us on the prop streets there. But that's kind of my take. And I think Torrey Craig's probably the best bet to start. His minutes are coming up. Kind of gives him a 1-to-1 defensive role there. So kind of would lean that way. We'll see a little bit more of Jalen Terry, Julian Phillips, and those guys.
Okay, makes sense. Atlanta side, there's not too much new news here. Clint Capella remains out for a bit here. Bruno Fernando is probable. So, could sneak in there. G League guys all questionable for them, and Patty Mills doubtful, just kind of on the fringes stuff. So any Hawks notes here tonight?
Just Kobe Buffkin. I thought he had a nice little impact. Got talked up a little bit for Quinn Snyder. Curious to see if he could find minutes somehow. Freaking Bogdan, can you make some shots, bro? He hurt us over the win.
Yeah,
But yeah, Sadiq Bey's playing a ton. They're playing really tight, so I think they're going to continue to play tight. Obviously, there was no Bruno, so they went smaller. That's kind of how these wings kind of got there, and there's so many condensed minutes. So yeah, Bruno, I expect them. They were running full 48 with a Kongwu and Bruno. I think they would need to size, especially with the double big lineup that the Bulls are running. So expect them to cover full 48. Good matchup for Vooch. Kongwu's a little undersized. Vooch really likes to go at those guys. And then the Trey matchup's a little bit tied to Caruso, because Caruso, who kind of clamped Trey the last time they played. So yeah, that matchup's a little bit up in there.
Makes sense to me. Next game we'll go super quick through. San Antonio, Toronto. This is about as clean of injury reports for both these teams as I've seen. San Antonio listed all their G League guys out except Dominic Barlow is questionable here. Shouldn't really be consequential anyway. There's no Zach Collins, no Wemby on the injury report. Do you have any Spurs notes as they head in across the border into Canada tonight?
Yeah, actually, so Dominic Barlow, we know they've been managing his G League games. He got some minutes, kind of in and over, and Popovich kind of hinted they may play him at the 4. So we've seen Barlow play next to Wemby in summer league in preseason. So obviously it's not something that's too tied, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's like kind of low-key benefited from Doug McDermott. We knew someone was going to find some minutes. Helped Keldon Johnson since Doug McDermott went away. Malachi Branham has found the rotation minutes. But yeah, so Keldon getting a bounce back was nice because we saw him hit like low 20s a couple times earlier. So that's nice to see. Obviously a really good matchup for Wemby. Players with his skill set have really taken it to Jakob Poeltl. Their defense has been pretty bad, even with Poeltl back in the lineup. And then Vassell also just does complete smash here against a Raptors team that's not going to have enough perimeter defense to guard him.
Is Zach Collins kind of dead here with that? With this, if Barlow's in? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play it, but I think there's a chance that they just play Barlow over Zach Collins. I haven't got to their minutes yet, but definitely to give Barlow some minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's something definitely keep an eye on. Collins was getting big minutes in the beginning of the season. Obviously, seen his role reduce since he come off the bench, but man, that was somebody that Pop was talking very highly of before the season and the beginning of the season. So interesting to watch there. Other side of this game, Toronto is pretty much clean. No RJ listed, just the two Marquise Noel and Javon Freeman Liberty out for the G League. Any Raptors notes?
Yeah, just got blown out by the Cavs. That was kind of a bad spot for them. But yeah, Jakob Poeltl has been playing a lot when he needs to. We talked about this on the show for DFS, saying like, oh yeah, they might run him even when Şengün in the Houston game, and they did. So yeah. I don't know how they feel about him. And then we saw last game, Olynyk really cut into him. So I think that's part of it too. So yeah, I don't know how they would approach it. I think there's a ceiling for Poeltl. Good matchup. Spurs are pretty vulnerable down there, but the ceiling case just isn't there with Olynyk behind him. They really like Olynyk as a connector. I think seems like a darker kind of a player. So yeah, not as much upside on him. Scotty Barnes' handling's up, triple double. Drives are up. All the roll stats are kind of back up here, and really since the trade, I think that's kind of helped him there. So he's on the rise. Obviously, Emmanuel quickly smashed. I almost cover boyed him. Guards has killed the Spurs, one of the worst pick and roll defenses in the NBA. So yeah, pretty good spot for the Raptors at home.
So you expecting to see kind of more of the same here, where like I guess they're kind of running 9-ish with the new guys like Baji and Olynyk and Grady Dick staying in there. And I mean, I guess with that bench unit, they can mess around with those minutes, but for the most part, we'll see more of the same here, where like the minutes upside on like Bruce Brown hanging on to him, just not going to be there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, he's kind of dead. Can't believe they didn't trade him.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We shouldn't be too hard on them. Like they could use that asset in the summer, but still. All right. Yeah. Okay. Nuggets. Is that where I'm going next? No, let's go to Knicks Houston. Knicks side getting a little bit healthier. No Brunson listed, which is good. Jericho Sims is expected back after he missed 3 straight games with illness. He's probable here tonight. Obviously, no OG, no Randall, no Mitch. Isaiah Hartenstein is the questionable piece. I know you and I, we were just talking. It's like we both do not think he plays. I don't think he goes. I know Begley just came out with a tweet that he's like truly questionable. I think they'd be stupid to play him before the break. Just give him full time off. This Achilles tendinopathy is just like you need to rest it. So I think he sits. Any thoughts on the Knicks? Oh yeah, and then we should talk about where do they go starters? We saw they re-signed Taj to a 10-day contract. We saw them start him. I think it'd be silly to start him again. You have your second game with Boyan. Maybe start Precious at the 5. I know you were thinking that. Sorry, I'm hijacking this segment. Go ahead on the Knicks.
No, man, this is your wheelhouse, man. Keep going. Yeah, I'm with you. I think they start Precious. I just sit him. I mean, we saw how long they managed him with his Achilles thing. He hurt it again. Just let him go to the All-Star break. Let him get right. If he is in there, we got a pretty hard cap on him. If we haven't projected in, this is how we roll. But we have him, I think, at 26, 27. Just because I don't think that they just can't do it. Like, just get him to the All-Star break there. So yeah, Precious just playing so much here. He could play
leading the league in minutes in the last 2 weeks or something, like 43 a game or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah. It's funny. Like the OG trade has turned into like the Precious trade is waiting for OG to come back. But
I know.
Yeah. I think Boyan starts. We saw pretty heavy minutes from him. Basically closed the last game. And then we did lose the McBride overlap. That was kind of noteworthy.
Yep.
Alec Burks obviously still in the mix there. But yeah, could be pretty tight. Houston defense is pretty good. Takes a lot of transition. Jalen Brunson, as you mentioned, just mega roll. I think he had 27 drives coming off an ankle injury. He's going to have one of the best rolls in the league. I don't care about the matchup. He can just go completely nuts. Like top. He's like has like a Luka level roll here. So
it's insane. The only thing to note on Brunson from like a Knicks fan perspective is that the 3 stuff is going to be down and it continues to be down, where the looks he's getting post Julius Randle injury are just not the same. So he was like 43% for most of the year. I think he's been at like 32% over the last week and a half from 3. Just bad looks. But you mentioned the roll, insane. I think they go Boyan Precious. Sims being back is another option. He'll definitely play. So there's a couple options they could go if Hartenstein's out from a starting perspective. We'll obviously be on top of it. But Precious should play a lot. Sims should play a plenty amount. As Zach mentions, won't they start Sims? I don't know. I mean, I would imagine, while OG and Randall are out, Tibbs wants to get Boyan in the starting lineup sooner than later. So, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Other side of this game, Houston, they're pretty banged up too. I mean, still no Fred VanVleet. Cam Whitmore is out. Tari Eason remains out. And then Alperen Sengun tonight is questionable. Is that a real Q tag? And any other Rockets notes here?
Yeah, missed the last game there. So definitely think Sengun could miss. Doesn't sound very serious there. We got a lot of Jeff Green in the last start without Sengun. To expect him to start again, even against the Knicks, and some rebounding concerns there. Amen Thompson playing pretty good minutes. Certainly, Jalen Green triple double. Very surprising there. Not really sun running. Had I think 12 potential assists, but minutes are pretty good. Obviously, they're running out of options here. Amen Thompson not like a true table setter yet. He'll grow into that role, but big spot for Jalen Green potentially, especially with the Knicks, who've been struggling defensively. They're running out of defenders here with all these injuries. The Taj, I think Precious is like a good rebounder. He's okay. He's a pretty bad defender, so pretty big Rocket spot at home from like a fantasy standpoint. And then Jabari's minutes have been pretty steady the last couple. He's been almost had a. He had 4 blocks, 4 steals, not enough dimes, but flirting with a 5x5.
Yeah, I mean, any mix of Boyan with Precious or Boyan with Sims will be vulnerable in the front court for sure for the Knicks. And I'm curious to watch if Deuce, if they're getting cooked on the perimeter by Jalen Green, if they give Deuce some more minutes from Burks. But we know how much Tibbs loves Burks. So okay. Let's go to New Orleans, Memphis. Some big Q tags here for the Pelicans. Zion finds himself questionable once again. Cody Zeller also questionable. No Dyson Daniels tonight. What are you thinking? We'll see out of the Pelicans in a game where they're in Memphis tonight. So maybe it's they look at it as a little bit more of a rest spot.
Yeah, pretty confident Zion's gonna be in there. We saw him I got the wrong box score up. He got sat out in the Portland game back to back. Ruled him out. It's pretty much just a rest spot. Noteworthy, they did start Trey Murphy in the Blazers game, and he played awesome. We were actually showing some overs on him, and I really wish we hit them because why would they? It seemed like if they were going to start him in a back to back, it's a pretty good sign of his health. Really, the only guy who had a good game. It was a gross game. This is the grossest game in a while. 84 points on the Blazers. We won't talk about them today. Shout out Ashton Haggins. But expecting Zion to go. Cody Zeller on the injury report, not for the mask. Shout out to Dink. He's listed questionable with an ankle. So that doesn't really matter. But I know Dink always loves those Cody Zeller available tags.
Yeah. Other side of this, the Grizzlies losers of 8 straight. Still pretty banged up here. No Desmond Bane, no Brandon Clark, no Jake LaRavia, no John Morant, no Marcus Smart. And then I think Derrick Rose and Zaire Williams are doubtful here. So Jaren Jackson not listed, Santi Aldama not listed, Conchar not listed, Vince Williams not listed. So we kind of know what to expect here from those main guys. But what about the bench pieces here? Any other notes on Memphis?
Yeah, actually, I gotta look into this because I think some I want to see if Trey Jemison's still on his 10-day. I gotta check. I'll check that next time I have a break. Because they just signed Jordan Goodwin. He should be available. Curious to see how this shakes out with Scottie Pippen. I think that them signing Goodwin's a pretty decent sign that Derrick Rose is going to be out.
They signed. Looks like they signed Jemison to a 2-way. So yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, that's right. That's right. That's my bad. Okay, so he's in there. Yeah, so pretty thin. Obviously, Jaren Jackson just insane role. Keeps his drives are really high. He's got a lot of handling. I saw the props bet line went up to 3.5 on assists. We've been kind of sniffing at the over there, but yeah, this seems terrible. We'll see. I think they play 3 games this week. They play today, and then they had the Wednesday, Thursday back to back. So yeah, if you have season long weekly and you're only playing this week, take a look at some Grizzlies.
Yeah. That's a good call because not many teams playing 3 before the break. All right. Interesting. Next spot here should be a fun game, assuming the Milwaukee guys plays. We have a potential finals preview, I guess. Denver in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is on the front end of a back-to-back. They're one of the few teams tonight that is on the one side of a back-to-back, so something to keep in mind. On the Denver side, just KCP questionable. Michael Porter Jr. is also probable here. But do you have any Contavious Caldwell-Pope notes, and what would you expect if he were to miss here?
Yeah, I've been getting ruled out early. They've been starting Justin Holiday, who played a ton, 37 minutes over the weekend. So I would expect him to start. Don't have a great read. Didn't sound like it was a bad injury, but they were listing him Q, and we kind of had to keep thinking he was going to play. But I don't know. I think this makes sense just to sit him to the All-Star break. Hamstrings are really likely to be aggravated. Michael Porter Jr. missed the last game as well. I think he was probable, so that was a bit of a surprise. So I expect him to be back out there here. Pretty much straightforward. Tough matchup for Joker, getting Brook Lopez pretty good. The Bucks interior defense has been actually really good. So I actually cover boy Jamal Murray for matchups. We're just going at Malik Beasley. You should absolutely cook him.
So yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you about that. Maybe we talk about it on the show. Since Doc has come in, obviously we know with Adrian Griffin they were playing this drop and everything. I was curious how I haven't gotten a chance to watch. I was curious how their defense has changed much over there. Yeah,
pretty much the same. Yeah, they've been playing the drop stuff. Beasley's still guarding on ball. Like Beverly didn't. We'll get to them now, I guess. But,
yeah. Let's go to Milwaukee. Middleton's still out here. Giannis and Dame are probable, so we should expect them to go. But we've seen for many years now, especially with Giannis probable tags, and Dame's been in and out of the lineup. These are probable tags to watch, in my opinion. Do you have any more insight here?
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on these. They play Miami tomorrow. And, I want to talk about Miami in a second, but just super quick after this. But I expect Chris Middleton's out to the All-Star break. Doc had mentioned that a couple days ago in the presser, and then reported it again yesterday, kind of more firmly there. So yeah, he's out till the break, possibly longer. Was in a boot, all that. So Jay Crowder certainly good to go. He'll be locked and loaded. Brook Lopez back for personal reasons. He's fine. Bobby Porter's playing a pretty good bit. They're still trying to find Pat Connaughton minutes. They've got the Pats locked down. They got Pat Beverly and Pat Connaughton. It's like Dennis and Dennis situation here. But mostly in it. Good tough matchups for Giannis getting Aaron Gordon kind of kept them in check last time they played. And then Dame's matchup would be tied to KCP.
Cool. And go ahead with Miami. We saw Jimmy Butler going to be out at least 2 games. But what do you want to say on them?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out how unlucky they are with their schedule. I just want to pull this up really fast. So we saw Josh Richardson's out for multiple weeks. We saw Jimmy's out till the break, and then we're probably expecting Rozier to miss. Look at the timing of this: at Milwaukee, at Philly, at New Orleans, at Sacramento, at Portland, at Denver. And that gets them to March. Like, oh god, it's awful timing.
Brutal. Yeah, it's been a tough regular season for Miami, and they're still hanging around right now, the 8 seed. Okay, let's go. Only a couple games left. This next one, pretty straightforward as well. Washington going into Dallas, tough spot for them. They are pretty clean injury-wise, though. Just no Isaiah Livers as far as someone that would play that is not expected to play tonight. Anything on the Wiz?
Yeah, Yeah, I do want to note the rotation changes here. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're good.
Marvin Bagley returned, and minutes were cut, and it wasn't because of injury. Coach Brian Keefe said that they went smaller and they liked it, and they wanted to kind of go that route. We saw them went in the game that Bagley missed, and Gaffer got traded. They started small, so they like that lineup. So I'm curious to see how that shakes out. Obviously, against Luka, we know teams like to not play traditional bigs, so pretty dicey spot for Bagley. It could be like a high upside spot for him, but he can get kind of rug pulled here. Denny Avdia, man, we had two terrible bets on him. Like I will gladly say that we should not have taken those. The guy plays so many minutes. He's been running more in the second unit, so we are not taking a Denny under today. I refuse it. And yeah, just again the minutes here. 39 for him, 37 for Kuzma. We saw Wes Unseld, not really up his guys that much, largely because of blowouts so often. But and I also should note, and I thought about taking it under. The Wizards' defense has been like okay since Brian Keefe took over. They are ranked, I think I lost my spot here, 11th in half court since he took over. So like 6 games, 11th. So still getting killed inside. They're taking away the threes. They have the lowest 3-point frequency against. So they're playing like Indiana style defense. So we'll talk about the Dallas guys, but they want to know, Keeps doing a pretty good job with these guys, and they're a little bit more fantasy viable because they're hanging in there.
Definitely. Yeah, let's go to Dallas side. They did have the debut of their new guys in their last outing with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. Gafford looked like he fit right in as a big next to Luka, like we thought he might, which is relevant because Derek Lively is still out. Dante Exum also still out. They do have Luka, Kyrie, Maxi Kleba, all probable tonight. Any Dallas notes or takeaways from the first game with the new guys?
Yeah, big win, man. Just a completely smoked OKC. Yeah, those guys look really good, man. Like PJ Washington catching alley-oops from Luka, Gafford alley-oops, running the floor really well. I thought he defended way better with the paint defense that they had. OKC's pretty strong paint team. They kind of took some of that stuff away. Just about as good as it gets. PJ Washington played a little bit of 4-5, a lot of space. He was actually guarding SGA. One of the more crazier SGA assignments I've seen all season. But yeah, that was they played just probably their best game of the season to do it against OKC. But yeah, we know Luka could play a bunch. Obviously, the matchup's still pretty good. He'll see Denny Avdia. Should also note that Jason Kidd said that they're going to probably run Maxi Kleba as a 5 for now, and then they're going to shift him to a 4 when they get Derek Lively back. So expect him to start. They also mentioned that they could eventually start PJ Washington, so we're kind of watching out for that. Could see PJ start because he looked. I mean, the fact that he was so good on, and he did a pretty good job on SGA there. So, yeah. So for now, we're leaning Washington coming at the bench. So we're coming with the same starting lineup here. But I think PJ plays a pretty good bet. Definitely could be pretty viable, even though that the Wizards are taking away 3-pointers.
Yeah, strong deadline for Dallas. I don't blame them at all for giving up that 27 first or whatever. I mean, they had to build around Luka right now. All right. Got this game really quick. Golden State, Utah. Golden State's really clean. Chris Paul obviously still out. Santos questionable here. Kuminga's minutes have just been insane. Any notes on Golden State at all?
I mean, they're just playing great, man. What a game. I hope you guys got to see that Steph buzzer beater, which is insane. That pass was like, at first I thought that pass was awful, but like, it's actually pretty dope. So shout out to Pods. Let me get some notes here because it's pretty astounding how great they've been since Draymond started. So since Draymond started, Steph's averaged 34, 5 and 4. Their defense, since they've moved over, that Draymond in the starting lineup, first in half-court defense. This is a team that was like hanging around last. So yeah, and they're going against a team that in this stretch, dead last in rating. So a pretty good spot for the Warriors. Considered betting them, but sometimes teams just lay eggs in Utah there. So and then Kuminga, since Draymond started, 23, 6 and 3 in 35 minutes per game for Kuminga. He is night in, night out, getting his minutes and making an impact here. So yeah, all's kind of right in Warriors land, man. It's bad, and Draymond got a tech, but they're playing great, man. This team's I think kind of dangerous. I'm always kind of someone who's ready to fall for the Golden State Warriors because I just love Steph so much. But yeah, they're playing just the best basketball of the season. It's not even close.
Yeah, work their way back to 500. You mentioned Utah, sometimes a tricky place to play. They are really clean tonight. Obviously, shipped off Agbaji and Olynyk, so it looked like Taylor Hendricks was part of their plans as we kind of anticipated, played 17 and a half minutes in the last game. Besides that, it's still pretty straightforward with the starter. Kessler started, I guess, in that last game as well. I guess any notes here for Utah?
Yeah, they went big. I expect that to continue. Didn't really get anything of note for Hardy there. And then the headline, they didn't go 10. They went with a 9-man, uncharacteristic. Maybe he sticks with that plan. Again, Taylor Hendricks should be in the mix. The John Collins lineups got absolutely torched. They couldn't guard the Suns in this game. So, but yeah, expecting the same starting lineup, and maybe they go 9 again. I don't think they're gonna look into adding. We saw them kind of cut out Samanic. We thought he'd be in there, and he was actually ahead of Taylor Hendricks 2 games ago, and they had Hendricks that day, so that was a little odd. But yeah. And that's also going to help the minutes here. You know, if they can actually score against the Warriors, I think we could see some minute ceilings, but not a great matchup for Lauri Markkanen with some size on him. Probably Kuminga and Wiggins getting him.
Yep, makes sense. Okay, quickly got to go here because I have to give the room back to my wife. Minnesota, LA, last late night hammer here. Minnesota, Jaden McDaniels questionable. They're pretty clean. Besides that, any notes on if McDaniels goes, who obviously they can use with all of the Clippers' talent on the perimeter?
Yeah, don't have a great read there. We'll see if he's out there. Hurt himself last game. Could definitely miss. A couple number of options here they can go to. They probably go to Slow-Mo, or they could go to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, one of the two. They might have Nickeil for defense. Should note Jay McDaniels in the last Clippers matchup guarded Kawhi. Anthony Edwards getting Paul George. So it could be, pretty actually Harden could be sneaky. We've seen him shoot the ball really, really well. Yeah, we can move on. Get you out of there.
No, it's all good. Cool. So yeah, Clipper side, they're clean. I don't think that game's on the main slate DFS wise, but we will be back behind the paywall at 5:00 Eastern. Please do join us there if you are a subscriber. If not, check out everything we have going on at establishedrun.com/NBA /NBA/
I gotta add really quick. I just want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't believe Norm Powell's not listed. He took a freaking shot. Jalen Duren elbowed him in the head, but yeah, looks like he's good to go. Zubac's still getting minutes limited. Just no ceiling there. They love to play small. That small ball lineup is so good for them. Really kind of got them back after the it was only the line got Dank got I got a -165 money line live. Dank sharp. He got a -115. Really nice comeback win.
Wow.
Against the Pistons who are playing well.
Yeah, Clippers continue to be a great team. All right, that'll do it for us. We'll be back here tomorrow, right here, same time, same place. Please give a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Sorry to rush out. Thank you all. See you guys later. Take care, everybody.